Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. It's time for the final review for the Transformers card game. We're going to take a look at the recently released Metroplex expansion. Now these are just taking a look at the exclusive cards for Metroplex, as he does come with a full 40 card deck to play with. We're only going to take a look at the 3 cards that are exclusives to him. And, of course, we're going to take a look at Metroplex himself and his 3 accomplices. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the star of this pack, Metroplex. Yes, this is a giant card, folks. If you have not seen this in person, it's hard to fathom it. Let's get one of his accomplices here, and you can see the size difference. This is the regular size Transformer card, and I set it here right on top of Metroplex, and by golly, this thing is just big. It makes me wonder if the combiners will be in something this big as well, if we get a set where they have combiners. Hopefully that is in the future. We all know we want combiners. But at any rate, here we have Metroplex Autobot City. This is the bot mode. And of course, unlike the toy, he only has the city mode, not the battle station mode. He costs a full 25 stars, so pretty much Metroplex here is your team. His abilities, his special traits are Titan and Ranged, and he has that on both sides. Metroplex has 35 hit points altogether. He has a 6 attack and 1 defense in robot mode, and in city mode has 4 attack and 2 defense. Now, when this guy is in his robot mode, when this attacks and you flip at least 2 white squares, 2 orange squares, and 2 blue squares, tap each enemy and do 1 damage to each enemy. So if you get Metroplex powered up enough to draw out 6 battle cards, and you can get that kind of a combination, you can do some real serious harm to your opponent. That's pretty devastating, but about what you would expect from a Titan. And then we turn around to the other side, and this is the side he would be starting on, this game begins with these 3 characters under it. Basically his 3 accomplices, Scamper, Six Gun, and Slammer. When you flip to this mode, deploy a character from under this to the battlefield. Even though these 3 guys here have their own point values, they are free to put in with Metroplex. So you wouldn't be just Metroplex alone, you would have these 3 guys with you as well. So you'll definitely want to make sure your deck is built up to handle them too. But speaking of them, let's take a look at them. We'll start with Scamper, City Patrol. This is him in his robot mode. Notice that now he has a red head, unlike the original toy's black head. Though then again, the whole toy was black, so nice color contrast here. Not sure I like the red head, but oh well. And of course, on the other side, we have the alternate mode. It's nice that they still keep it somewhat in homage to the G1 toy, as it does have 6 wheels. He has car and melee traits in alt mode, whereas he just has ranged in robot mode. He has 4 hit points altogether. He has 3 attack and 1 defense in robot mode, whereas in alt mode he has 2 attack and 2 defense. And you can use him and his buddies in regular decks. As you can see down here, he has 4 stars. The only downside to putting these guys into a deck of other characters is the fact that all their special abilities help Metroplex, not anybody else. So they really don't fit well in other decks. That's a shame. I mean, it's nice that you've got 4-point options. Hopefully, future expansions will give us some cheap guys like this that are more useful overall. But at any rate, in bot mode, his special ability is, when you flip to this mode and have Metroplex on the battlefield, scrap an enemy weapon or armor. So that tells you he's getting pretty tough. And then when you flip him to alt mode, Metroplex has bold 1, giving him 1 more battle card when attacking. So, not too shabby there. Moving right along, we bring up the next one, 6-gun, heavy weapons expert. He has ranged as his trait in robot mode, and he retains that in alternate mode. And he costs 4 stars to deploy on a team outside of Metroplex. 6-gun has 5 hit points altogether. He has 4 attack and 0 defense in robot mode. And in alt mode, he has 2 attack and 1 defense. His special ability in robot mode is when you flip to this mode, your Metroplex gets bold 2 until the end of the turn. So he gets to flip 2 more battle cards when attacking. But that's only during the turn that you flip him over. And then, of course, on the reverse, pardon me, when your Metroplex attacks, do 1 damage to the defender. So you'll always be guaranteed to get a hit on your opponent. So that's always good to have. Sorry, all this talking makes you thirsty. And then now we come to Slammer, the combat drone. Now he's unique in the fact that Slammer does not have an alternate mode. Slammer never became a robot. Slammer was just a tank. As you can see, his traits are tank and ranged, and he has a 4-star point cost. And he has 3 hit points, 3 attack, and 3 defense. And his abilities are, when you deploy this from under Metroplex, you do 1 damage to each enemy. So right away, Slammer comes out shooting, and then your Metroplex has bold 1, as long as Slammer stays out there. So, not too shabby. But again, the guys are kind of useless without Metroplex. That's the only real downside that I have to the extra figures. They're nice to have. They do complement Metroplex well, but they don't do anything for anybody else. That's kind of a small shame, but it's also not really unexpected either. Now let's take a look at the battle cards. Metroplex came with 3 battle cards, and there are 3 copies of each card, so you would have the full legal limit of these cards. This was at least a little better thought out than the promo pack battle cards that were given out at Comic-Con and Gen Con, where they only have 1. And if they expect you to get more, well, then you've got to pay eBay prices, and sometimes I don't think that's really worth it. Card number 1 is Height Advantage. It's an action card, and it has a blue square in the corner. It's an action that gives one of your Titans gains bold 4, so you can flip 4 more battle cards when attacking. This is a nice generic battle card for it, since it's for Titan. It's not specifically for Metroplex, so this one will likely stay out there if they do another Titan. like Trypticon, Fortress Maximus, or Scorponok would all be considered Titans. I'm not sure if they consider Omega Supreme a Titan or not, but this will be nice to have. We at least get that as one we can use overall in other decks. So that was nice. That was awfully nice of them to set that one up like that. Card number 2 is Protected by Metroplex. It's a utility upgrade, and it has an orange square in the corner. If the upgraded character would take damage, instead your Metroplex takes damage. So this is more a utility to grant to Slammer, Six Gun, and Scamper, so that the damage that they might take can get deflected to Metroplex. And especially since they've got 5 points or less in health, they could certainly use all the help they could get. And the last card is Rally the City. It's an action card, and it has a white square in the corner. And it says if you have Metroplex on the battlefield, draw a card for each character you have on the battlefield. So basically, if Metroplex is still standing, you can draw a card for your 3 buddies. Or maybe you can modify this with a house rule if you're playing with a friend. If you're doing a 2-on-2 per battle and one of you has Metroplex, you can probably write a special rule that allows you and your buddy to work together with it. That's just a thought. But at any rate, I like what Metroplex brings to the game. It brings something totally unique that we don't have yet, and it sets up some exciting promise for the future of the Transformers card game. Now, of course, those of us that remember the original Wizards of the Coast game that they put out back in 2007, where you had the buildable figures, it didn't take long for an expansion to come out, but once that expansion came out, the game kind of died due to the way it was set up. I'm hoping very much so that this will not be the fate for this game, because this holds some exciting potential for it. I do, again, being a G1 fan, I love the fact they drew more inspiration from Generation 1. But I do know there are fans of many of the other series that are out there, and nothing against them, mind you. But it would be nice to see an expansion that would cover more of the other Transformers in the line. Hopefully that is down the pipeline. Hopefully they will continue and do more than just one other expansion. I think it's a gimme that since these have been somewhat on the difficult side to find, we might be able to look forward to an expansion next year. That'll give us some more characters and battle cards. Hopefully another Titan as well, so that we can have a nice duel. Personally, I'd like to see Trypticon get done as the next Titan, since those two were always pitted as rivals. So I'd like to see that and see how that goes. But at any rate, what do you think of the Transformer card game? Sound off your opinion in the comments section down below and let me know. Was this series of videos helpful to you at all? Would you like when the next one comes out that I do something similar? Please feel free to let me know, and we'll see what we can arrange. At any rate, this concludes my review of the Metroplex expansion for the Transformer card game. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already joined up with us. And this is Sparkster1701 saying I'll catch y'all later, and I hope everybody has a good and safe holiday.